we need to focus on the whole, and we're working about who's going to be in control of the wheel as it's going down. And so I thought we weren't focusing on the right place. We're spending too much. There's better ways to do it. I put out an alternative because I think it's a fair question to say, well, then what's your alternative? And let me go over that just very quickly. That alternative was to model what we have as federal employees. Why do I think that's a good system? What it does is it's a group plan with 9 million people in it. 9 million federal employees, their spouses, and their kids. 9 million. Now, I don't know if any of you belong to Sam's or Costco, but what happens when you buy in bulk? The prices go down. I will guarantee you that the price for my insurance with 9 million people in it is cheaper than 95% of the insurance plans that are out there because of sheer bulk. And if, God forbid, you're unemployed and you're not in an employer-based plan and you have to go out into the individual market, I'm probably 200% less than what you could buy as an individual market because of the sheer numbers. There's also another advantage to it. I'm going to introduce my folks. You met Lisa because of her ability to work with the thermostat. Karen Davis over here. Karen, if you'd stand up. Karen does our outreach on housing and health care, so people with difficulties, Medicare, denied coverage on something, or you were declared dead by Social Security, she's the one that helps you on that. And that has happened, by the way. Let's see, Molly is the boss of the office here. James is our economic development / everything else guy. Now, why do I point them out? Did I miss somebody? Oh, Sarah, the new person. She's brand new. She's been on for only about 2 months now. And she helps with our communications and correspondence. So those of you who write and get something back, she probably touched it in some way. And where Dean left, somebody had to man the office. That's Jessica. You do know our staff pretty well, don't you? Why do I point them out? All of us probably have different plans. Now, Molly and I probably don't because we both have kids, and I think we're probably in the same Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO that allows for well baby care and annual physicals for kids and those type of things. The point I'm trying to make is we all had a choice. Many of you never have a choice in your insurance, in your health care. So we get to pick a plan that matches us. And one other fact, because this allows the companies to come in, like I said, I'm Blue Cross Blue Shield. There's a variety of other plans. Because they compete against each other, we actually have the lowest inflation rate when compared to Medicare or and especially private sector employer-based plans. So when you get those together, you reduce costs, you provide access, you still aren't dealing with the major issue of reform within the system to create efficiencies and lower the overall cost. But at least this way you get individuals the ability to get into a major group type policy with choices and options that can meet their budget and their needs. And, yes?
Are all your employees civilian employees or government employees?
They are all government employees.
Okay.
But this is the model, and my bill was to recreate that so that civilians could get into it. And I even wrote in a part that would give employers the same treatment, tax treatment. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spit on it again. Tax treatment, which is that's a business expense to cover the cost of your employee. And also the same tax treatment to the employee, because usually if an employer is paying for your health care, that's a taxable event to the employee. But our federal laws, our tax laws say no, the employee is not going to be taxed on that benefit. So that would remain the same. So that way small businesses that still want to make sure that their employees, i.e. family members, would have access to insurance and a more affordable insurance and maybe even a better insurance than they were able to. And the total cost to administer that at the federal level was $15 million, and under my bill, the insurance companies would put up the cost for that. So zero cost to the American taxpayer. And I'm still fighting to get that submitted to. I'm going to take your question, or can I finish up and then I'll call on you first? Then and then you all know what happened to the health care bill. Passed the House. It passed the Senate in December. And one other major bill passed the House of Representatives after health care. I know 100% of the media attention was then in December on the Senate health care bill and what they are doing. But there was a CFPA, Consumer Financial Protection Act. And this was kind of wrapped around reforming Wall Street. Basically, it left Wall Street untouched, in my view, except for capitalization requirements, which I thought was appropriate. But once again, on balance, you have to look at what really was going on here. What the CFPA, and there were commercials running here, did is created a new federal agency that, under the name of consumer protection, had the ability, had the mission to review every financial product and determine what was consumer friendly. So for example, if it's determined that your ATM fees are too high, or that certain areas should be exempted, or certain people from these fees based on consumer friendliness, they would have the power to do that. It basically erased all state laws over intrastate financial transactions and removed them to the federal level. So in the end, there were a lot of financial services businesses that really complained that they didn't like the government dictating every part of their business. And by the way, it isn't just the product that they had, but it went so far as to say that they could review the business practices and salaries of the employees and the management. So it's pretty intrusive. But small banks were able to get exempt, credit unions and insurance companies were able to get themselves exempt from this law. Now, financial transactions for an insurance company is life insurance, annuities, those type of things. Now, they exempted smaller banks, but the entity still has the power to say something like this. We find that only a fixed 30-year mortgage with X interest rate will be allowed.
Sounds great to me.
And whether you're exempt or not, that's the only mortgage that you would be able to do. So that's how powerful this entity would have, or much power it would have. And that's basically the major issues. I mean, all of those are really incredibly important generational type bills. Now, where are we going to go on some of these? Healthcare. I have no clue. I'm going to admit it to you. I'm not sure anybody does, including Speaker Pelosi and Majority Leader Reid, know where it's going. I have been told that the two are still working and may have even reached a compromise. That would be called a conference report, where the Senate and the House get together. We don't know if that's actually true. It's being reported as of yesterday, although I was told that last week. If that's true, then they can try and bring that forward and force a vote. I don't think they have the votes for that, especially in the House of Representatives, and couldn't get over a filibuster in the Senate. So I don't know where they go.